Hi, Michael. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good.
How are you doing with this pandemic?
It's I teach over at Cal State University, San Bernardino, and it's very busy. You know, trying to put everything online instead of teaching in the classroom. It's a nightmare.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
It's even difficult for students, you
Yeah.
know.
It's not the right. It's not the best way to make matters even worse. I teach at a community college in San Bernardino, and they decided not to have any meeting times for their classes.
Wow.
That
Even
mean
here in Seattle too, like they don't have like a meeting in classes. That's why most of the community colleges and universities are closed.
Yeah, so what I'm doing with that class is I meet 2 times a week for an hour. I invite everybody who can attend. I say the meeting's optional. If you want to show up for class, you can. I'll record the class. They can watch it later. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's not my kid can't go to school. He's in the other room taking classes. Yeah, yeah, how you holding out?
Sorry, what's your question?
Yeah, how are you doing with all this?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm still working, thank God, for still having my work, my job. The only thing is like TOEFL test centers are closed since the pandemic started, you know.
I heard, have they started opening up some of them, or they're still all closed?
They still all closed except there is a one, but like close to Canada. That is really far from me, so it's like a 2 hours driving.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of problems up, not in Seattle, but Portland, Oregon, south of Seattle. There's a lot of problems.
Oh yeah, that's it. Uh, I opened my. Let me see.
Okay, what do we got going on here? I'm having some trouble with your
Hear me
audio.
now?
You got two mics going on here or what? Yeah, I'm having some trouble with the sound. Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay. I can hear you. I was trying to log in from my computer because most of the people tell me my computer audio is not clear, but I can like navigate and see my laptop while I'm talking to you, but it's fine. I can just use my phone.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So let's take a look at, I'm going to take a look at the essay that you sent me here. Have I scored this one yet, or is this the first time I'm seeing it?
This is your first time you've seen it. I just
Okay.
wrote it.
Okay, I got it. Okay, let's take a look. Let me share the screen with you here for a minute.
Oh, before you start, can
Yes.
you record this meeting so I
Yeah.
can use it?
Yes.
Okay,
And
please.
how about this? See if you can record it from your end.
Uh,
Do you see an option in there? But it's already recording from my end. I already
okay.
started. I started the recording automatically when I logged
Okay.
on.
Okay.
But if you can try, just in case, try to record it from your end
I
too.
don't have an option here.
Oh, you
It
don't?
won't give me that option. Yeah.
Let me look at it. Let me see what it says here. Security,
Yeah.
participants.
I think it's fine. You can send it to me after we finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at, I'm going to share the screen with what you sent me. This is it, right? It has recently been announced a large shopping center may be built in your neighborhood. Do you support or oppose the plan, right? This one?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you have a integrated underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at the first one for a second. So, okay, I'm going to read it right now. Is an atrocious idea because it will bring traffic to the city. I wholeheartedly believe building a shopping center is advantageous because it brings many jobs, increases the government's income. So you got your thesis. Okay, makes jobs. available. Okay, I'm just going to get a general idea how we're doing here.
Okay.
Well, you got some complex grammar in here. If the government had not expanded, the graduate students would not have been able to find jobs. So you handled your past perfect tense there to talk about a past impossible condition. That's good. That's a good sign. Okay, let's look. What is this information here in between these symbols? What is this?
Oh, this is my first although sentence. I put it as the first body paragraph. Then I changed my mind.
Oh, okay. So it's just kind of some of your notes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to look at it in a little, and obviously in a lot of detail right now, but I'm going to say right now, at least, I think it's not bad. I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to say maybe 24 points, but let's go over it in more detail now.
Okay.
So my first suggestion is probably you need a little bit better introduction. I recommend around 100 words here. So that would be my first suggestion. Let's see what we can do with that. You have really well developed paragraphs. So you have 370 words. Okay, so in the beginning, should a government build a shopping center in Seattle? This is a controversial question. Although many people think that building a mall in Seattle is an atrocious idea because it will bring traffic to the city. I don't know how to spell that. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good word. Good vocabulary. I wholeheartedly believe that building shopping centers is advantageous because it will bring many job opportunities. Okay. So let's say what I'm going to do is give you maybe 2 or 3 sentences to kind of raise the topic first. That would be a good strategy here. And that way you have a little bit longer introduction. So let's see what we can say here. Okay, let's see. People take pride in their neighborhoods, so they're always eager to keep these areas peaceful and safe. We might make sure that their properties appreciate and value. Maybe. I think we have. People take pride in their neighborhoods, so they're always eager to keep these areas peaceful and safe. To make sure that their properties appreciate and value, these residents can be particularly sensitive when it comes to development in and near their neighborhoods.
Okay.
So what I did is I tried to raise a few topics, kind of raise the topic before I get to the question. So you got to the thesis a little too quickly. That's one of my recommendations is don't just get right to the question. Kind of go around the house a couple of times or something. Kind of go
Okay.
around. These residents can be particularly sensitive when it comes to development in and near their neighborhoods.
Okay.
Schools, retail centers, whether or not shopping centers should be built in neighborhoods. Then we can probably say something like this. Okay, I think we have it here. There we go. You see what I just did?
Oh yeah.
So now we have about 105 words here.
Okay.
So we're showing that instead of just going directly to the question, we're making some broader statements. But notice how the statements I make, they all kind of connect to neighborhoods and residents in neighborhoods, but it's a little bit broader than the actual question.
Okay.
Let's see, although many people think that building a mall in Seattle is an atrocious idea because I'm going to say because that, no, I'm going to say it's construction. I think you need to be careful about using a lot of pronouns, too many pronouns, especially when you're introducing ideas. Its construction will bring traffic to the city. I wholeheartedly believe that building a shopping center is advantageous because it brings many job opportunities and increases the government's income. Okay, I think this is good. Go ahead and read the whole paragraph for me, Shima, one time.
Okay. Okay. People take pride in their neighborhoods, so they are always eager to keep their areas peaceful and safe. To make sure that their properties appreciate in value, these residents can be particularly sensitive when it comes to the development in and near their neighborhoods. In fact, whether or not shopping centers should be built in the neighborhood in my town, Seattle, remains a controversial question.
Okay, how about
Although,
this? In the neighborhood in my town,
okay, yeah.
maybe of Seattle. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Although many people think that building a mall in Seattle is an atrocious idea because its construction will bring traffic to the city, I wholeheartedly believe that building shopping center is advantageous because it brings many jobs opportunity and increases the government's income.
Okay. Now, if you wanted to, It says, although many people think that building a mall in Seattle is an atrocious idea because its construction will bring traffic to the city,
Mm-hmm.
you could probably get rid of a lot of this.
Okay.
Building a shopping center
Brings.
We'll make sure I'm not changing the meaning here. Although many people think that building a mall in Seattle is an atrocious idea because its construction will bring traffic to the city, building a shopping center will bring many, and we used the word bring before, right? So let's say, why did it put it there? It always does that weird stuff like that. How about generate?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good word.
What I'm trying to do is, you already said this word here, so
Right.
or
Okay.
I said it, and we want to use a different word here. So I actually got rid of a few words in there that weren't needed.
Okay.
And that gives you more time to spend on your details.
Okay.
So, although many people think that building a mall is an atrocious idea because its construction will bring traffic to the city, building a shopping center would generate many job opportunities and will increase the government's income.
Okay.
And I'm going to use this word.
Revenue.
Yeah.
I
Usually,
used it. Okay.
you used it already in this paragraph?
Not this paragraph, but the
But
other one.
in another, yeah. Well, usually governments don't really have incomes. People have an income. You earn your income from working. But governments, they get their money from taxes, from people who pay taxes, and then it goes there. So I think revenue or revenue stream, you could even use that term if you wanted.
Okay.
Probably a little bit better way to describe it. One of the reasons, in this case, because you said of the, you have to put S.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons building shopping centers let's say A, because it
Yeah.
used it up here.
Okay.
And how about this? What if we take this word, shopping complex? Now think about it. This is a tip. You look at the word center, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can say, well, it can be called a complex, or it can be called a plaza, or it can be called maybe a mall, or maybe even a strip mall, perhaps. So you have to think of what are some different ways to refer to that so you don't have to use exactly the same word every time.
Okay.
That's another strategy is to, you're trying to showcase you have a pretty good variety of vocabulary. One of the reasons building a shopping complex in Seattle is beneficial watch this. Yeah, you can, I'm going to say first. Building a shopping center in Seattle. I'm going to use future because it hasn't really happened.
Okay.
And I notice on this, I think that you're in pretty good shape. Notice how in the next paragraph you said it will help increase the government revenue there. You see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have to once in one paragraph you talk about something and you're using the future tense to do it, but then if in another paragraph you're using the simple present, then it's not what we call a consistent verb tense choice. So you have to kind of make a decision. You could even say that if it were built, it would, and that would be what's called present impossible condition, using the past tense to talk about a present impossible reality. But I like how you didn't go there. That's a little bit more complicated to try to do it like that. But I'm going to keep it future because it's also future here.
Okay.
But notice how in this paragraph you go to would. You see what I'm saying? You said facilities would make,
Oh yeah.
but you said
Well,
will increase. So that's one thing that you have to think about is be consistent. There's a lot of different verb tenses you can use to explain this idea, right?
okay.
But the main thing is, now why is it doing that? Can you hear that echo? Is that just me?
No, just you.
Oh, I hear something weird. Okay. Yeah, you just want to be consistent. Consistency is important. Let me make some notes here. Let me see. I'm going to say consistency in verb tenses. Okay, let's keep going. It says building a shopping center in Seattle will make jobs available. I'm going to say for, not of. The jobs will be available for many people. For example, let us say there is a man, and this is going to lower your score here. There is a man who, not he. So
Oh yeah. Who?
you have to your adjective clauses.
Yes, I know about that, but because I typed too quick, so I
Yeah.
didn't pay attention for that. Okay.
Let us say there's a man who moved from Arizona. From Arizona State to Seattle seeking a job. Instead of saying Arizona, I would probably say something like Phoenix, for example.
Okay.
Phoenix, Arizona, right? So Phoenix is a city, Seattle is a city.
It's a
So
city.
now if somebody's moving from Arizona to Washington, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
You could say it like that, or moving from Phoenix to Seattle.
Sure. Okay.
If the government does not, BUI, if the government does not build a new mall in Seattle, he probably will stay without a job.
For really long time.
Yeah.
I,
I'm going to just say he will not have a job. He probably will not have a job for a really long time as a result of building a new facility.
oh, is there a verb tense problem here?
Yeah.
He will be able.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say, on the other hand, as a result of building a new facility, yeah, he will be able to find a job immediately after he had applied for. You left out, you're leaving some words out here.
Okay, for the position. Okay.
Yeah, he will be able to find a job immediately after he had applied for the position, after he applies. Although some people think that building a new mall will increase the traffic in the city because there are many people. Again, adjective clauses, definitely. This is killing you. Yeah,
Okay.
you this is going to kill your score faster than anything because it shows a limitation. It shows that you're stuck on more simple type sentences. You're not sure how to create the complex sentence. But for the TOEFL, if you look at the rubrics, you have to use a combination of basic and advanced grammar.
Okay.
So if you're not using any adjective clauses in there, when you should be, your score is going to drop. It's going to drop fast.
Okay.
Okay, although some people think that building a new mall will increase traffic in the city because there are many people who will come and visit this new place. Residents who live around the facility will be able to find jobs, and they also will not have to commute long distances. If the government had not expanded the problem here, this is where you get into problems. You're bringing up another reason, but the topic is jobs, not smaller commute times. To me, that's not part of the paragraph.
Okay, I was wondering when I add this sentence, but I want to make it like a long sentence, you know?
Yeah, no, don't do it. In
Okay.
fact, let me see if I can, let me look at some things here. Okay, how about as a result of building a new facility, let me show you a couple of things. Workers such as retail clerks, servers, let's say plumbers, electricians, engineers, I'm just trying to prove through specific detail. I'm trying to prove the job thing a little bit more.
Okay.
So on the other hand, as a result of building a new facility, workers such as retail clerks, retail clerk, servers, sales associates, managers, security guards, accountant, and many more positions will be created because of the new shopping facility. Even during the construction of the building, plumbers, electricians, engineers, and labor workers were needed to ensure completion of the new center. Thus, it will be much more likely transplant from Phoenix. I had to go back to that. We'll be able to find a job I'm going to put in the neighborhood
Okay.
of my city, right? We probably should do that because that's what we set up here. Okay, now let's look at what we have here. So you talk about factories, hospitals, shopping, so you're getting into too many different things. I would just stay focused on shopping centers.
Okay.
That's it. So if you look at, I mean, how many words we got here? Let me make sure we're still okay. We're 158 words here. This is fine. But what we did here is we're just very focused around the idea of jobs and the shopping center, and that's it.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and read the whole thing now? Let's read it one more time.
Okay. Building a shopping complex in Seattle will make jobs available for many people. For example, let us say there is a man who moved from Phoenix to Seattle seeking for a job.
Just
If the
say seeking a job. You don't even have to use a pronoun, a preposition. You say seeking a job.
if the government does not build a new mall in Seattle, he probably would not have a job for
Will
really
not. How about find? Will not find a job. Okay.
job for a really long time. On the other hand, as a result of building a new facility, workers such as retails, clerks, servers, associates, managers, security guards, accountants, and many more positions will be created because the new shopping facility.
Okay. Now here's my question. So why do you think I put these words in here?
To
Those names.
more details about what kind of job that shopping.
Yes. This is called concrete detail. I think you could do a little bit better with the concrete detail. So in the beginning of the paragraph, you should be general. It should be more of a topic. But once you get into the middle of the paragraph, that's where you need the details. You need to start naming things, get as specific as you can, as precise as you can, and that helps the argument that you're trying to make. And it also showcases your vocabulary. It's showing the IBT human raters you have a good command of both basic, because retail clerk is a very basic word. But vibrant, as in vibrant economy, that's maybe a little bit more advanced word. Or using the word transplant, the transplant from Phoenix. Again, this is a little bit more advanced. This word's more advanced. However, these words are pretty basic. So we're showing that we have good basic vocabulary, very basic and specific vocabulary. We also have a little bit more advanced vocabulary.
Makes sense.
Okay, keep going.
Even though during the construction of the building, plumbers, electricians, engineers, and labor workers will be needed to ensure the completion of the new center. On the other hand, the construction of the new shopping plaza will create a more vibrant economy in the
Now, wait a
neighborhood.
minute. Where'd you get on the other hand from? Where are we
Uh,
at? Thus, right? Thus, it will be much more likely.
okay. Thus,
Yeah.
it will. Maybe I went back. I
Oh,
don't
wait
know.
a minute.
Even though.
It will be there. Yeah, thus it will be.
Thus, it will be more likely that the transplant from the Phoenix will be able to find a job in my hometown. On the other words, the construction of the new shopping plaza will create a more vibrant economy in my neighborhood of my city.
Right. So I put this in here because this kind of ties back to the writing prompt.
Okay.
Okay, let's keep going. Another reason for building a new factory is that it will help increase the government revenue. I'm going to try to make this a little bit more concise. Okay, so what did I just do here?
you deleted that many words that I don't need it, and
Yeah. And
maybe
then
you matched the first topic sentence.
and
Because
notice
it started with
the
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 first.
the parallelism, Shima. You have what's called parallel structures: building a shopping complex, building a new factory. But
Oh, it's not the
building,
factor.
you're using a gerund in both cases. Sometimes it's called parallelism. You have similar topic sentences, and if the topic sentences are similar in their grammar structure, they're also similar in their ideas. At least that's what the writer is going to say. But factory is not the same thing as a shopping center.
Shopping center, yeah. Mall or shopping complex.
Yeah, or we can say facility this time. Will help increase the government's revenue to illustrate. Watch this. Some research has been conducted on 150 of the most well-known cities in the world about if they were now what does they refer to?
Countries.
Well, but you didn't even mention countries before that. You said government, you said research, you said cities. Do you see what I'm saying? To me, it doesn't clearly refer to anything.
Okay, so we're not cities.
I think you're saying
Cities. I mean cities here.
or the governments, if the governments would, or if cities would benefit. But let's say to illustrate, some research that we conducted on 150 of the most well-known cities in the world about. I'm going to make this more formal and say whether or not. I'm going to say cities would benefit in new streams of revenue building of these new facilities. Okay, I think we have it. So to illustrate, some research has been conducted on 150 of the most well-known cities in the world about whether or not cities would benefit in new streams of revenue from the building of these new facilities. Unexpectedly, researchers found out that 75% of these cities' income of these cities, plural, but this is a plural possessive word. So if it had been just one city, you would say apostrophe S. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I know about that.
And then, but you would just put the apostrophe after the plural noun. So unexpectedly, researchers found out that 75% of these cities' incomes,
Revenue. Okay, there's a difference.
these cities' income or
Tax retain, or maybe.
tax. Tax. So what is the word? Tax.
It's not retain, right?
I want to say tax shelters, but no, tax. I'm going to just say, I'm going to go back to
Revenue. Okay.
unexpected. Research found out 75% of these cities' revenues increased by 5% every year, and this money
Sure. We innovate.
No, but it looks like you're talking you're talking about what they found out about the study, and it looks like you're using past tense verbs to discuss the findings, right? And that no, there's no comma needed here because you're using this word. You're kind of connecting the two dependent clauses together. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if you put a comma before the word and, you have what's called a compound sentence, which means you have two different independent clauses. But that's not
Yes.
really what you have here. So they found out that 75% of these cities' revenues increased by 5%, and that this money,
Went
yeah,
to,
was largely spent
spend.
on, I wish I could tell you writing was easy, but it's a nightmare.
I know.
Everybody wants to figure it out. Well, Michael, I studied TOEFL for 1 month. Why is my writing score, 22? I mean, if you study writing for 6 months, you may not get good results. It's difficult. You got to understand the complexities of what we're doing here. It's
To get to this level, I did work really hard.
if you keep doing what you're doing, you have to keep writing, obviously, and then you have to figure out what's going on. So for you, this paragraph is better than the previous paragraph because your detail is very strong. The detail, the revenue, the 75%, the 5% increase, that's very good. Much better than the previous paragraph, but you have a lot of language use issues
Okay.
in this paragraph. That this money was largely spent on renovating. I forgot how to spell this word. Is it? Yeah, okay, here. Renovating these cities. I'm going to put therefore. If you put the word so in the beginning of a sentence, that's very informal, Shima.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like conversational language, and TOEFL writing, believe me, should not be like conversational language. So I'm going to put therefore in there.
Okay.
Therefore, the data
Shows.
show. No, you're correct. It show because data is actually plural.
Plural. Okay.
Your subject verb agreement is actually good. Most students would not do this. But I think that you made a mistake. You thought that data was singular. You thought that you needed to put the s, correct?
Sometimes like when I read like I got two different ideas at the same time, especially with the uncountable nouns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's in this case. Believe it or not, here's the singular form of data. The
Datum.
datum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you actually have it correct.
Okay, so the data shows. Okay.
Yeah. The data show.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There it
You
is.
could even say this. These data,
Okay.
if you wanted to. The data show that it
It is.
obvious. Yeah, this is you can't leave out your verbs.
Yeah, it is obvious.
No, but you don't even need it. You remember before you had there and I changed it? Check this out. The data show that how about this? That countries how about this?
Obviously, benefit.
Now what I'm showing you here is if possible, don't use it and their sentence constructions. They're very basic and they're informal type writing style. And usually for TOEFL, for the independent integrated writing, you don't want to show an informal writing style. You want to show a more formal writing style. So if possible, now it's not always possible. Sometimes you have to use it, or maybe you need to use there. But in all cases so far, I've been able to rewrite those sentences without using it and without using there.
Okay.
So I said the data show that countries obviously benefit from building new facilities such as schools, malls, and houses. If these countries had not had built, no, it's just had not built. I think that was just a typo. I think you know the grammar here.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, if these countries had not built new facilities, the governors would not have enough sources of income to remodel
I think I'm missing a verb in the sentence. The governors would not have had enough resources.
let me look. If these countries had not built the governors would not have no had.
Yes, had.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But you just about pulled off the grammar here. You're pretty close. You're talking about a past impossible condition. If these countries had not built new facilities, the governors would not have had enough sources of income to remodel and renovate the cities. But I'm going to say remodel and renovate are more or less the same thing. So I'm going to get rid of one of them.
Okay.
Although people believe that governments have other sources of income to improve the cities, the income, I'm going to say from a new,
Facility from shopping center. Okay.
yeah,
Facility
would make a difference. Therefore,
will make a difference. So I need to keep it parallel with
yeah,
the introduction or topic sentence.
that's right. But notice how therefore it, and you forgot the is.
It it is beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah, you're leaving out verbs sometimes, or you're saying sentences in a maybe too informal of a manner. Okay, go ahead and read this paragraph one time.
Okay.
Second.
Second, building a new shopping facility will help increase the government's revenue. To illustrate, some research has been conducted on 150 of the most well-known cities in the world about whether or not cities would benefit in the new streams of the revenue from the building of these new facilities. Unexpectedly, researchers found out that 75% of these cities' revenue increased by 5% every year, and there's this here. I don't need it. That money was largely spent on the renovating these
No,
cities.
I would put this money. Yes. I'm going to say this because it connects back to the revenue
Revenue.
here.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying? And that this money, what money? Well, the money that was generated by
the
the
revenue.
revenue from the cities. I use the word this because I wanted to connect the two parts of the sentence together.
Okay, it just sounds weird that this is not common. Okay.
Yeah, but
Um,
notice how that you're using the word that as a noun clause connector. It's introducing a subject and a verb. Then you have to look at this as a determiner. It's
okay.
kind of occurring right before the word money.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Therefore, the data show that countries obviously benefit from building new facilities such as the schools, malls, and houses. If these countries had
Okay,
not built,
wait a minute. Such as, I'm going to just do this and keep it focused on that one area. You see what I'm saying?
okay,
Okay, keep going.
if these countries had not built new facilities, the governments would not have had enough source of income to remodel the cities.
Okay,
Um,
how about this? Instead of governors, how about the governor is the person in charge of the whole state, but just say
of
officials.
officials, okay,
And then it can be anybody, city, state, federal. Okay, keep going.
okay. Although people believe that governments have other sources of income to improve the cities, the income from the new shopping facility will make difference. Therefore, it is beneficial to build a shopping center in Seattle
And then maybe change that into in my
neighborhood.
Or how about, so you live in Seattle right now, right?
Yes.
You got a pretty good climate up there. It doesn't get really, really cold, but it stays very mild during the summers, correct?
Uh, yes, but sometimes it get really hot. Like we reach 100 one time, I remember. But yeah.
You should see. I'm in Southern California. We've had 100 degrees 12 days in a row.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and I don't just mean 100. I mean 110.
You can survive in Africa then.
It's really hot. Are you getting any of this smoke from our fires? We got fires all over the state right now. About 40 major
No,
fires.
no,
You're not seeing
not
the
at all.
smoke? No,
Not at
I
all.
look out I look out my window. It's just smoky everywhere. Smoke.
Wow. It could be clear in Oregon, not in Seattle, because like we are so far.
Yeah. Although therefore it is beneficial to the shopping center in my Seattle neighborhood. There we go. To sum up, countries,
With apostrophe.
yeah, countries officials should build new malls
In my community, maybe.
in neighboring communities. And instead of saying this is,
Mhm.
see if we can get this figured out because not only
I need it.
yeah,
Not only,
because
not only it allows, maybe, but the subject close to the verb.
I'll show you here in a minute. Let me get up. I'm thinking too much. I can't talk when I'm thinking.
No problem.
Okay, let's see. Because they knew. You see what I'm talking about though with writing feedback. A lot of people say, "Well, Michael, why don't you just correct all my grammar errors for $45 a month?" Can you imagine if I did this for 100 essays?
Um,
You know how busy I would be?
yeah, I know.
I would never get anything done. Honestly, I would. So that's why I have to charge $50 a month. So nobody asks me to do it, but very few people. That's why I go all the way to the top. I'm like, I'm not going to do it unless they pay for it.
Uh,
Because here I'm an hour right now and I'm still on your first essay. Says
yeah,
to sum up, countries officials should build new malls in neighboring communities because the new construction not only allows people to find jobs, but also adds to the money that governors could use to improve
without the R, cities.
their cities. How about
Infrastructure.
infrastructures?
Okay.
Maybe something like that. Now the next thing though is I'm going to go through my course right now and let's see what lessons I think you should take a look at based on. So I think it's close. I think you're probably between about 22 and 24 points on this thing. I think it's very close. What's going to happen is there's an e-rater. You actually have a writing software program that goes through your writing and it analyzes it in terms of linguistic features. That means a computer looks at your writing in terms of vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure. It looks at how long, how short your sentences are, and all of that. And then you also have a human rater. You have a human being, a person who will read the essay to make sure that you actually answer the question because the computer doesn't really know if you're writing about the shopping center or the neighborhood or whatever. The computer might not be able to accurately do that, but the computer can look at a lot of your sentence style and things and then see if you're more or less advanced. So I think you can probably work on making your sentences a little bit longer. I think that might be a good strategy. To sum up, countries' officials should build new malls in neighboring communities because the new construction not only allows people to find jobs, but also adds. This is good parallel structure. Notice how instead of using it, I said because the new construction, and the new construction means it.
Okay.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so because it not only allows, but also adds. So not only plus verb, but also plus verb. So the sentence is balanced. And instead of having two sentences, you now have one. And check this out. That's a 39-word sentence. That's good for the E-rater. The E-rater is going to like that you have a longer, more complicated sentence in there and not just short ones. For example, this one. This is only 22 words. This is a shorter. This
Okay.
is, again, 22. So let's take a minute here. Let me see if I can figure this out. If it'll, let me check out this for a minute. Spelling, grammar, clarity. It's going to go through the whole document. Okay, I'm not going to worry about all that right now. Okay, let's go into the website now. Let's take a look at my course. Let's see if there's anything that I'm going to go through each section and I'm going to tell you what kind of stands out. Remember, I wrote all these lessons. It's hard to believe it took me 7 years.
Wow.
It,
Yeah. But there are a lot.
7 years.
Wow.
I spent 7 years before I made a dime, before I made any money at all from this.
Wow.
7 years.
That's really long.
And then
Time.
everybody wants stuff for free. Michael, can you do this for free? I'm like, look, if you spent 7 years writing and creating a course, you certainly wouldn't want to give it away for free.
Sure. Yeah.
And I use it to pay my bills. Okay, let's go over here. Hold on. Let's go back to. Okay, let's say. And we're recording this too, so let's see what happens. And remember, we have to address all areas of your writing. So I think there's some vocabulary things that I want you to do too. It's not just about writing. Does that make sense? When you think about, when you think about writing, it's not always just writing. Okay, can you see the screen here? I'm at my website. Okay, let's see. I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I think it would be a good idea if you spend time reviewing some of the vocabulary words in lesson 4, 5, and 6. I think improving your vocabulary, especially college level vocabulary, can help you. It can improve your ability to write about a wider range of things without any vocabulary limitations.
Okay.
So vocabulary 4, 5, and 6. And then pronunciation, not worried about that. Let me look at the grammar areas here. Let me think about this. Yeah, I think prepositions is kind of a minor issue. You're not sure, for example, the difference between of versus for, but I don't think this lesson is going to really help you with that. But if you go to Google and you just search for, prepositions in English grammar or practice with prepositions in English grammar and get kind of used to how we use them. And for example, how is in different from on, or how is on different from at, and all of those things. I think that would be good.
Okay.
Okay, what else here? Yeah, I think lesson 11, subject, verb, and versions, I don't see you using that very much. I think that's something that you might incorporate into your writing to advance your grammar a little bit. And sentences with adjective clauses. Lesson 6 and 6.1, you had at least 2 problems with adjective clauses in your writing. So I think that you should study that grammar, get more familiar with that. And then verb tenses. The key here is consistency. Make sure you're consistent in the verb tenses that you choose because the consistency helps to unify your writing and your paragraphs. So I think lesson 17, verb tenses, that would be a good one to look at. I'm going to keep going. Some of these, like articles, you're having trouble with those, but it's really tough to learn those, and you won't usually score lower because of those problems. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think lesson 21, prepositions, again, you can take a look at that lesson. I think here I'll give you kind of a list and how they're used in sentences. Okay, that's better. You see that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can maybe spend maybe once a week and just kind of read through the sentences to make sure you're familiar with how they work. And remember, I can't really give a definition of prepositions. Prepositions are very abstract, but I can at least put them into a sentence so you can see them.
Okay.
That's what I did there. I think gerunds and infinitives, you're pretty good. You're pretty comfortable with that, and that's a good thing. You don't have too many problems there. Sentence variety, I'd like you to take a look at that. Lesson 26.
Okay.
Lesson 27, being more concise. Yes, yes, and more yes. You're too wordy. So go through lesson 27 and see how you can tighten up your writing where you're not using things like it or I believe or it is my opinion that. You know, try to get rid of some of those phrases and words that don't really do much for the meaning of your ideas. So 27 is a good one. I think lesson 34, eliminating distracting shifts, especially as you move from one verb tense to the next. I think you should take a look at that. That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go to writing. Finally, what can we do here? I'm going to try not to overwhelm you here too much. Generally, your ideas of thesis and topic sentences are pretty good. So I don't really have any major things here. I'm going to say you've probably seen the lesson already. Lesson 5.6, writing the perfect paragraph. Have you gone through this lesson?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, the main thing there is you
Mhm.
just want to take a detail and just make sure you stay with that one thing through the remaining of that paragraph. You don't bring up new ideas.
Okay.
And then maybe lesson 5.5, how to show depth and complexity of thought to the writing.
Okay.
Maybe. I think this will probably be a pretty good lesson for you to
Okay.
take a look at. And I think that's about it. I think everything else, you have a good concept of how to write things. I mean, how to organize them for the most part. Sorry I didn't get to the other writing, but I told you it usually I spend about an hour just for one practice test, believe it or not. I don't like to go too fast because
Oh,
it's a lot of information to take in.
it is
Okay,
true. Okay.
you know, it's a lot. Okay, I think that's good for today. All right.
Okay. I
And then when I get the recording, it will produce. It takes a couple of hours. Maybe send me an email. Say, Michael, can you send me the video recording of our private lesson today? Maybe send me a
Okay.
quick email, and then I'll do that later on.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
So I think you're
Okay.
in good shape. So
I will
if
send
you
you an a writing.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I think your voice is like I don't. It came late. I don't know why.
Let me send you a quick email too here. Let me go over here. Let's see.
I can hear you better now.
Okay. Let me send you this too. There we go. I'll send you this. You can take a look at that. Okay.
Yes, I received the email.
All right. Okay. Have a great day. Any other writing, I'll continue to grade it. Normally with, the normal service, unless you want a private lesson, I'll give you scores and I'll give you some basic feedback on what you're doing so you can monitor your progress. All right.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
you have any questions, if you ever want to have another private lesson, just let me know.
Okay, sure.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
You too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.